When Drew was my student in the Carolina Reporter, he was the sort of reporter and writer that professors long for. He was personable, dependable, creative, and energetic. I knew that if he went out reporting, he would come back with a good story, and that story would be well written and turned in by deadline. I believed Drew would do well in journalism, but I had no idea he would do so well so fast. Nor did I know he would marry one of my favorite graduate assistants, Jamie Hoffman Brooks, who is with him tonight. Drew's reporting on Afghanistan for the Fayetteville Observer has won multiple awards and accolades. He's now the newspaper's military editor. But he still often goes where our troops go, embedded with them. Sounds like hell to me, Jamie says, but he loves it. He is with a small paper, but he's getting to do things on a national scale. A lot of Drew's love for his job springs from the kind of articles he is writing. People who are writers just really get excited about what they're doing. Jamie told me he's getting to tell stories about real heroes who are putting their lives on the line every day. Drew, the School of Journalism and Mass Communications is really proud of you, and so am I. Please come forward.
I still don't think this is quite real yet, so but first let me just say that living in North Carolina now, it feels really good to be in a place where they understand who the real Carolina is. There's not much blue in this room. I like that. Thank you. I came to this university having no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't know that at the time, but it's obvious with my being here that I didn't graduate with the major in biology that was originally planned. Truth is, I sort of fell into journalism. In a search for a new major, I took a journalism class on a whim, but realized that this was something I might want to do. Later, I joined the staff of the Daily Gamecock, not because I sought it out, but because another student literally ran into me in the hallway of the Coliseum and suggested I check it out. If I recall correctly, that student was the news editor, and he left the paper during my first writers' meeting. A few weeks later, having only 3 or 4 articles under my belt, I somehow became news editor for the summer when no one else signed up to work on the paper. That was a terrifying summer, by the way. I had a class in the Coliseum for one of the summer semesters, and I walked the halls in fear of Doug Fisher and his copy-edited issue of the Gamecock. As I remember it, each week, without fail, he'd pull me into a room and go down the line with errors I should have caught, explaining each along the way. I don't think I ever had a clean edition of the Gamecock. Even today, I'm not sure I could pass those standards unscathed. But somewhere along the way, I'm not entirely sure when, I realized that journalism was what I wanted to do. And my string of good luck continued off campus, where one of my first lessons was that yes, newsrooms have windows. My first 2 jobs in journalism were a direct result of the faculty here who taught me while I was here. Doug Fisher helped me get in the door at the Shelby Star outside of Charlotte, and Chris Roberts steamrolled me into the newsroom in Fayetteville just over 7 months later. Those 2, along with Ernie Wiggins and Cecile Holmes, have been who I've looked up to, and I thank them for the time they gave me in school and the time they've continued to give me in the years since. I've had a little bit of everything as a beat, from business and politics to small town government and crime. In Fayetteville, where I am now, I somehow ended up covering not just the military, but the nation's largest military installation, a place where they jump out of airplanes armed to the teeth, not for fun or thrills, but because it's their job. My job has taken me to Iraq and Afghanistan. I've ridden in the back of medevac helicopters while soldiers frantically work to save lives. I've been in the middle of a firefight and roused awake by more than a few mortars. And I've lost count of the scalding hot cups of chai I've drank with village elders. A typical day, even back home, can include body armor and big explosions, just as much as they may involve discussions with the nation's top military leaders. The fact is, journalism can be the best job in the world. It can move people emotionally, and it can hold officials accountable for their actions. This school prepared me for all that. It gave me the foundation that has served me well, and I'm humbled to be back here today. This university means a lot to me. I like to say that I found both of my loves here, journalism and my wife, Jamie. She too was in the old dungeon across campus studying journalism, even though she was destined for a job in advertising. I proposed not far from here, and we were married just a few buildings away 3 years ago this past Tuesday. Happy anniversary, honey. It's sort of bittersweet to be back to the J School and not be in that old dungeon. That's not to say I'm not incredibly jealous of today's students who not only have windows, but cell phone reception. This is amazing, and given the opportunities for myself that came out of that old dungeon, I'm excited for the opportunities that will come to current and future students. I look forward to seeing them in the journalism world. I just hope they don't come after my job anytime soon. Thank you, and go Gamecocks.